YouTube, it's Ashley Offset. I'm really excited about today's video, but before we get started, I wanted to thank my subscribers. I'm gonna list your names here. I know my first subscriber, I was like so excited, super cool guy with an awesome channel. His name is Mickey. So Mickey, thank you so much for subscribing. And since then I've gotten a couple of other subscribers, so I wanted to thank you guys. I've been here for a few weeks now, and so finally kind of building some viewers is cool because I don't feel like I'm talking to nobody. Although if I was talking to nobody, that's okay too, because really the purpose of this channel is for me to kind of document the journey I've gone on with the guitars I have thus far. The reason I'm this excited today is because I'm going to be talking about a really cool guitar that got me kind of into the Gibson brand. Someone made a comment in my family that guitars seem to really calm me down, and I'm a person with a lot of anxiety, and so just hearing that comment, I was like, you know what, I think they're right. I had dipped out of guitar for a very long time, lost a lot of what I knew, but what I did know is that maybe I had the capacity to try guitar again. So although I had many guitars, I will say all of which were Fender except my first guitar, which was an acoustic. The rest were Fenders, all Stratocasters. Had a custom shop guitar, sold that guitar. It was the only guitar I had sold at that point in my life, and I heavily regretted it for many reasons. And so I was on the hunt to start this journey and to kind of fill the void that that guitar left and inspire me to play. There is a mom and pop store in my city. My husband encouraged me to go in there because he had spotted a few things that were really cool. One he sent me a picture of, and he was like kind of really into it, and I was like, I don't know about that one. Because they're so small, they have a lot of used gear, and then they have a lot of new gear, but it's kind of lower end new gear. Although they do business with Gibson and Epiphone. The guitar that he got me to go in this guitar store and look at was the Slash Appetite Burst, the Epiphone version inspired by Gibson. I walked in there, it's a really small shop, so I don't tend to like those kind of stores. They're really cozy and like get to know you type. I have a lot of anxiety over people hearing me play, even my own family. I've said it in other videos. And so in a smaller shop, you're just more prone to being looked at. I went in there anyway, and there was the Slash Appetite Burst Epiphone. I pick it up, sit down on a guitar stool, and I had been learning the solo to one of my favorite guitar songs. I had always known kind of the chords to this song, and I was like, you know, it would be really cool to just finally finish this song so that I can play it all the way through. So I've been practicing that song for a little bit and kind of learning how to bend the strings. Pick up this Epiphone, and the first thing I said just running through that solo was, "This feels like butter." 100% did. Like, I was blown away. Granted, again, I had only played Fender Strats or acoustic guitars. Very little acoustic, mostly electric and Fender Strats. Strat. Like, that's all I wanted to buy. And this blew my mind because it was so vastly different. The feeling that you get between a Les Paul and a Strat are really that broad if you've played only something for X amount of years. I was shocked. But that being said, I wanted to check out the other stuff they had because I was not in the Epiphone lane or Gibson lane at all. And so I was like, okay, well, what else do you guys have in here that might blow my mind as well? I'd never had a Telecaster before, and it's in the Fender realm. So I tried a Jimmy Page, I tried another Fender Tele, I tried a PRS because I'd never played one of those. I tried a bunch of different guitars that they had, and none of them even came close to feeling like butter. I was like, okay, you might have me sold on this one. This is really cool. And also being an Epiphone, it's not as much as you could spend on a guitar, so it had that going for it. So we left the store, there's a Guitar Center, and they had this same guitar advertised. The MSRP was originally $9.99 on these things, but forever and a day they've been $7.99. You can still pick these up if you're interested for $799 or better. What we wanted to do was see if this smaller store, because they're a local business, if they would match that price, because if they would, we'd prefer to give them our business, being a local store and all that. They ended up doing the deal. They said, yeah, cool, no problem. They actually had no idea that the price had just dropped to $7.99, and so they were cool with adjusting that and also gave us like a little bit of an extra deal with it. I was really excited to get home with this thing and really plug it into an amp and try it out. Honestly, didn't plug it in at all in the store. I'm kind of notorious for not checking pickups. I'm learning my lesson on that. Kind of luck of the draw, I'll just hear what the pickups sound like when I get home because I don't want anyone to hear me play. I'm gonna show you kind of around the guitar some of my favorite features and what sort of makes this guitar different from another inspired by Gibson Epiphone Les Paul that you might pick up. All right, so here is the awesome case that comes with it. This was a definite selling point for me. Whether I'm a sucker or not for that, it doesn't matter. It worked for me, so I went for it. But here you can see Scully on the case, and it also says Epiphone on the outside. We'll talk a bit later about how companies aren't including cases with their guitars anymore. This being an Epiphone and having a case, just really cool to me. So we'll go ahead and open it up and look at the beauty that is the Slash Appetite Burst, inspired by Gibson and Epiphone. Look at that. Love that. So I love this red and Appetite Burst color combo. It's just working for me. Oh, if this thing said Gibson on the headstock, I would not be fooled. It's just freaking gorgeous. So we'll go ahead and talk about it a little bit. It's a mahogany body. It does have a maple cap with a AAA flame maple veneer. Then you have your two custom pro buckers, and they're Alnico 2. So these humbuckers are actually designated for this run of Slash guitars. You have an amber color switch tip here, and then you have trapezoid furloid inlays that are just really beautiful. This is a laurel board, but it's kind of a darker brown, so it doesn't look as light or as greenish as some of the other laurel boards I've seen. Another cool part about the guitar is that on the truss rod cover, it has the Slash signature on like a 2-ply cover here. And we also have Scully on the back. I'm hoping you can see that. If not, we'll give you a close-up of it later. But overall, just a super beautiful guitar. I kind of told you about some of the appointments of this guitar. We'll say it's a 12-inch radius. Let's come around to the neck here, because this has ended up being one of my favorite parts, and I didn't even know it at the time. But I'm learning that I prefer a thicker neck. This one is to Slash's standard, so it is a Slash-inspired C-shaped neck. Definite chunk to it. Really enjoy that. Vintage deluxe style tuners. And here you have the gold top hat, volume and tone knobs. In the case, they also included some strap locks, which I thought was really nice. We'll sit the guitar down and look and see if there was anything else that came in the case that I didn't tell you guys about. So the interior of the case is just very soft and plush. Just being honest with you, it's softer than the case that I got with my Gibson Custom Shop, so there's that. The overall case might not be as good in terms of quality, but definitely the lining of this case is just top notch. And we have an Epiphone signature like pull tab right here. And I have the price tag from the store that I like to keep. I try to keep as much as I can as it relates to the guitar that I got. Here are the strap locks. You have a key for your case if you need that. So a sticker, here's that sticker, another cool sticker, and another one. This one's cool, it's a pick. I gotta say, also better case candy than the Custom Shop guitar. I'm just saying, the Custom Shop case candy included vintage hang tags. So yeah, I would prefer stickers. It came with one sticker maybe, but here's another sticker that it came with. And another one. This one kind of looks like a ticket established in 1873, Epiphone. Just super cool. And then just some info on the Gibson app and lifetime warranty information. So there's your case candy. Why don't we go ahead and plug it in and see what it sounds like. Okay, so overall these are just clean tones. There is a little bit of reverb going on, but as far as anything else, no pedals or anything like that. I just like a tiny bit of reverb, and it's not gonna affect the overall sound, so I hope you're okay with that. So we'll just start in the rhythm or the neck position. Middle. The bridge. Middle. And back to the neck. Let's do that in the bridge. And that's with tone all the way up on both. We can try that in the middle too. Back to the neck. Let's just do that part in the bridge. you can hear a good difference there. Neck position. Taking it into the bridge. Back to the neck. Just put it in the middle. Bridge is very effective. So playing some of that on the cleanest amp known to man that is made fun of for its distortion. Again, no pedals, but did just want to show you, obviously, like the mode that I like this in the most lately has been putting a little distortion on it. So apologies for not using the other amp, but I hope you picked up on a little bit of that dirt, none of which is necessarily something that Slash would play. I didn't buy this guitar, obviously, not even close to sounding like Slash, but much respect for him. One of my favorite songs in the history of ever has always been November Rain. That music video and that like iconic image of him in front of the church was just the coolest thing ever. To look over and see like a familiar guitar shape with Slash on the headstock is just so cool. So while I know I'm not playing Guns N' Roses at all, definitely one of the selling points of this guitar was actually that it was his signature model. Thank you for putting up with my playing. I continue to work on it. Well, I think the main consensus in this video is that I just love the thing and it kind of opens some doors to Gibson items. I definitely got a Gibson after I got this because I was like, well, if this is like this, what is a real Gibson like? And that's what got me into my custom shop. So this thing started everything. It started my gear acquisition syndrome. I went on a bender of products. And so that's kind of what this channel is about right now. Yes, I love this guitar. Yes, it got me into Gibson. But there's a reason I kept looking after this one. I honestly almost sent this thing back because some of the things it has going against it, personally for me, it is heavy. It's about 9 pounds. I'm gonna weigh it again because I can't remember the specific weight of it, and we'll go ahead and tell you what that is. But it's very heavy, especially compared to those Strats that I'm used to, up to a couple pounds heavier, to be honest. If you're talking about even a Squire like Classic Vibe, those get really light. I got that prior to this. There's a vast difference there. I'm kind of smaller framed. It does make a little bit of a difference for me, but I don't really think it's about small frame, large frame. Some people just prefer very light guitars. Some people don't care, and some people prefer heavier. It is what it is. It's a heavy guitar. Being heavy though, it's also just kind of a slab of wood here. There's no cutouts for comfort or anything like that. When I lay my arm on the top here, there's like a, not a permanent mark, but a mark that will stay there where the body of the guitar is cut into my arm the whole time I've been playing. And actually, if I practice long enough for a number of days, then there's some bruising there. I think some of these issues would be eliminated if I like wore the guitar and stand up and played. So again, it is heavy. The output jack is down here. And so it kind of, even though I have like an L cable, it still kind of mashes down into the bed when I go to rest it on my leg. And it's just really puts the guitar at an uncomfortable angle. That's something my other guitars didn't do. When I'm playing, I tend to like hold the guitar to my body. I think a lot of people do that. But when I do, it kind of cuts me. I say cuts, but truly like my body will bruise if I play this guitar long enough. I know it sounds ridiculous, but the guitar is brutal on me. Considered returning it just because I couldn't get comfortable with it. A Strat is nothing but comfortable. So to have to fight your guitar to play it, it's just kind of like playing guitar is a battle in and of itself for me. So like fighting the actual body was just something I was like, why would I do that? But I swear every time I play it, I love the 12-inch radius, and that's not something that a lot of Fenders offer. Some do, but I'm just saying traditionally I thought the rounder radius would be, well, the internet tells you it's like better for chording because it kind of conforms to the shape of your hand, and then the flatter radius you would think is better for metal. And so I always bought into that, but I think it's very personalized because for me, this is better for my chording. There's more clarity. You can hear every note, whereas sometimes my fingers don't make enough contact when I'm barring chords on the other radius. So it's just really weird and personal. So that's another reason you should always try everything out instead of just buying online. I know, easier said than done. Just an observation. Why I'm here, why it eventually didn't go back, are the sounds of the pickups, and it could just be the sound of a Les Paul in general, because they're all going to be pretty close regardless of the pickups. But I always describe that sound as like a warm bourbon, like it's a warm bourbony sound, and it just can't be matched on other guitars, much like a Strat sound can't be matched on other guitars, but I'm really into it. While I'm spewing all these pros, I did want to say the cons for me are just the weight and the ergonomics of the thing. Horrible. Most of the time I'm not playing this. I'll pull it out if I know I'm going to play it for like 5 minutes to see what a specific song sounds like on it that I've been practicing. If I'm learning like a slash lick or something like that, I'm like, well, I've got to play it on this because I just want to see what it sounds like. I will say, I told you about these pickups earlier. Some people are super upset that this didn't come with Slash's humbuckers. That's okay. You know, if I were in the game longer than I have been, maybe I'd be upset too. But I really like these humbuckers. They are specific to the inspired by Gibson Epiphone Slash model, so you're just finding them on this, and I think it sounds really good. Another thing I'll also say about these humbuckers is I've not had a lot of guitars that have had humbuckers until recently, but when I compare it to the 2008 Gibson Special Faded I had, it's kind of right in there with the kind of dirt that it can pile on. Like if you want a lot of distortion, this thing has no problem just like running away with that. This humbucker on this Strat here, also really good at getting dirty and grungy, but like I said, that bourbony, like that's the way I describe it. That deep, smooth, bourbony tone combined with that distortion is killer. Those are the reasons that I can kind of deal with the ergonomic issues, because the sound is there and the feel is there when I'm playing. Cannot believe I forgot to tell you about the neck carve. So this is like a special slash C shape. Basically what I'm saying is it is a thicker neck profile, which I prefer heavily. Currently I'm looking for a Gibson SG that can match that C-shaped neck. A lot of them are the slim taper or slightly bigger, but not nearly as chunky as this comfortable slash C neck. So that's another reason this one's not going anywhere. You know, I think this one was made in 2020, and what I want to say about that is a lot of stuff was going on obviously at that time, but one thing that remained was the chatter about Gibson QC issues. And to kind of further that, the chatter about Squire and Epiphone really stepping up their game at that time. I have a Squire Classic Vibes guitar, plenty of American and Mexican made Strats, and I can say that guitar, that Squire, definitely has its place. And I see where that QC talk was coming into play because Squiers did not used to be that way. Before I bought this, I knew about those Gibson QC type rumors, and I was like, well, they say Epiphone's improved a lot. So whereas traditionally I'd be bummed out, and I'm not gonna lie, it's like a mental thing when you see Epiphone on the headstock. Sometimes it feels like a little bit of a bummer. This guitar is perfect in every way, and if it said Gibson up here, I wouldn't be shocked and I wouldn't question it. And just because it says Epiphone, I think it's a little bit less, you know what I mean? So I've got to work on getting around that. But because I knew Gibson USA was having some rumored QC issues, I was comfortable buying this. And especially because it came with a hard shell case. They might be incorporating that case into the total cost of the guitar, and being a signature model, sure, some of what you're paying is probably covering the artist. But with all that being said, I'll take a guitar with a case any day over a guitar that doesn't have one. I'm just a sucker for that. A lot of even higher end guitars today are not coming with hard shell cases or even gig bags. And the fact that you can kind of still squeeze in and get one like that just kind of sold me to, and it's a slash case too. So these are my many thoughts on this inspired by Gibson Les Paul / an Appetite Burst. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.